It's all about the upcoming elections, the potential fraud that officials want to avoid, and the machines that are related. We had speeches on the steps of City Hall today. We had the mock trial of a Diebold voting machine. We had the Raging Grannies Action League belting out a few patriotic numbers with modified political lyrics. And it ended with a guilty verdict and the public execution.
I have no choice at this point.
Watch your eyes. Watch it.
Of the voting machine on trial. In all, it was a uniquely San Francisco event.
We can't have corporate secrets in our election systems. If we're going to continue to use computers, we can't have a barrier to inspection.
That's Brent Turner with the San Francisco Election Integrity League. He objects to the way manufacturers of voting machines keep the software secret, saying it's proprietary, and he objects to them dismissing concerns about fraud, while they say the manufacturers, are worthy of the public's trust.
We want to raise the bar with these machines and make sure that if anybody happens to tamper with one, that it would be noticed, and that's where the open source code comes in.
Some of the event's speakers echoed that sentiment too. Alec Bash of Democracy Action addressed the crowd on the steps of San Francisco City Hall.
We are patriotic Americans who care deeply about our country.
Hey!
There is a crisis of confidence in America today. Many people do not trust electronic voting machines to count their votes accurately. When I go to register people to vote, many people refuse because they don't trust the voting machines. This is a cancer afflicting our democracy and will not be solved by keeping it secret and under wraps. It must be brought forth into the healing light of full public disclosure with open source code.
A short trial then ensued with actors playing the parts of Mr. Sequoia and Mr. Diebold, fictitious witnesses who represented those companies' interests. The defendant was the voting machine itself, charged with crimes against democracy. And then, well, it was on to the fun. The verdict came from the crowd.
You've heard the testimony. What do you think?
Smash it!
1, 2, 3.
Smash it!
1, 2, 3.
Smash it!
And then we moved from the steps of City Hall to the adjacent small grassy area, just to the left, with the Raging Grannies crooning away.
Smash, 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 get up! Diebold needs a whack! Get the secret!
The Election Integrity League's Brent Turner told me afterward it was a cathartic thing, holding that sledgehammer aloft and letting it come back to earth to smash a $3,000 voting machine.
It felt great. I used to smash guitars as a youth, so, it came back to me quick. It's like riding a horse.
Turner even exhibited the usually internal receipt strip that records votes. The machine had labels from the Maryland Department of Elections on the side. And one interesting side note, someone during the mock trial commented that Diebold had worked to remove the company's name from the outside of their machines. Upon completion of the sledgehammer treatment, though, most of the internal components were exposed, and some of those components did still have the Diebold logo. As the pieces got smaller, the City Hall building manager came out and brought the event to an end.
You want to hit?
Yeah, I'm the building manager.
Okay, you done? Okay, good. We'll
Yeah,
clean
we're
it up.
done.
The latest in the saga is that Secretary of State Deborah Bowen is deciding how to penalize election systems and software out of Nebraska. They allegedly sold machines with unauthorized changes to 5 counties here in California, including Merced, Marin, and San Francisco counties. Some think the problems were minor technicalities, but the Secretary of State's spokesperson told the San Jose Mercury News 2 weeks ago that the company has had, quote, a pattern of recalcitrance, end quote. A top-to-bottom review by Bowen in August led to many electronic voting machines being decertified in California, but Bowen has said that most could regain their approval in time for the February election. All they need to do is improve their security features. With producer Tom Payne, I'm Sebastian Kunz, reporting from San Francisco City Hall.